Hello and welcome once again. We are back. It's All for United. It feels like ages, but it was only Sunday that we were having a lovely little chat, I do believe. Or was it Saturday? I don't know. All the days are rolling into one at the moment. But there we go. We've got lots and lots to get through. It is back by popular demand. It has been requested. Hence, we're the voice of the fans. That's what we're here for. So if that's what you want, well, that's what you're going to bloody well get. So we are having a little Throwback Thursday, back to the golden oldie days of All for United, where we used to have fans forums, topic shows. I always remember my very first one over on the Women's Channel. It was great fun when John Foster asked me to come over. Do you want to come onto the onto the podcast? I said, I'll come on the podcast if you want me to, John. No problem whatsoever. And so there I was, getting ready to come on, and he said, "Don't forget to bring your topic, Barry." I'm like, "I'm sorry, what? Excuse me." Surely I'm coming on and you're going to ask me loads of questions and I'll just answer those. But no, apparently that was not how life worked over here on All for United. Instead, you just had to make it up as you went along. So I think I came up with a cheeky little, what would your five-a-side team be? So that's what we've got tonight, is lots of different topics. And we're going to kick off with the thumbnail one. It's quite a simple one. And it's been based on some of the rumours that I've been hearing. And the rumour that we kicked off with was the fact that Karim Benzema could potentially be on his way to Old Trafford with his 700 odd grand wages. I mean, I'm sure he wouldn't be paying that much anymore. And then, of course, the news that in Saudi Arabia, they might be thinking of bringing in Wan-Bissaka. They might be thinking of bringing over Casemiro. And I just sort of questioned myself. We had that brilliant news about Omar Bereda coming in that was kept under the radar and showing how a real football club operates. And then this. Now, I get this is all media spin. There's nothing come from the club or anything like that. But I just kind of wondered, do you think, based on what we're seeing over the last week, we've learnt any lessons? Because it would be a very Manchester United thing to do. We do need a striker. We could do with somebody in that position just to help us get a few more goals. So my sort of question with regards to that topic is, are we actually learning anything? Or are we just going down the same old rabbit holes that we've always been, getting Alexis Sanchez ridiculous amounts of money in the hope that we're going to cover a little shortfall somewhere else? So what do we reckon? Do we want the Karim Benzema? Should we be getting rid of the likes of Wan-Bissaka and Casemiro in the middle of a season when we are potentially grossly underrepresented in so many positions? So that's my topic. That's what I want us to have a little chat about for the first 10 to 15 minutes or so of the show. So I will hand it to my trusty right-hand man who's on my left-hand side, Mr. Dan. What do you reckon? Are we learning anything?
It depends what rumour you believe, I suppose. I've spent the day talking about us possibly signing Wilson from Newcastle, which I think would be not a very good signing in terms of we're not moving away from the mistakes we've made in the past. Bringing a 31-year-old that's injury prone for 18 million on 150k a week is not a good idea. I'd prefer to see Charlie McNeil start for the rest of the season if that's the sort of transfers we're going to be doing. Having said that, I'm going to completely contradict myself right now. I would take Benzema in an absolute heartbeat as long as he takes a massive wage cut. I think it's like 96% of his wages he'd have to cut to have a realistic chance of joining. He's on some silly money. It just depends on what reports you're looking at, really, because especially through this little period, some of it is good and some of it's bad. I'm still not overly happy that we're getting rid of these young lads. I think Gore's now gone as well. Looks like Palistri's going to go too. Hannibal's gone. Hugh Gill's gone. So I'm not saying every youth player should make it, but I'm still of the opinion that surely we need to be. I think this season's done, apart from the FA Cup, so we need to promote some form of youth for the rest of the season. But other than that, I'm concerned, but not concerned, because we saw with the transfer of the guy from City, the press don't seem to know what's happening at the minute. So a lot of them are taking pot shots with some of these rumours. the one that I've seen that we're closest to getting is Choupo-Moting. And if that's true, then you question where the club's at. So it's been reported tonight as well that it doesn't look like the club can actually even get anybody in on loan due to FFP. So yeah, it just depends on what rules for me. I mean, of everybody linked, I think Benzema would be the wisest choice. And then I think the season's pretty much done, so I don't see why we can't promote a bit of youth between now and the end of the season. There's players like Ahmad should really get a run out this season now.
Interesting. I mean, Andrew, where do you sort of stand with all this? Because we could be in a position where Wan-Bissaka goes off, and obviously if he goes off, that leaves us just with Dalot. We've got the potential that Casemiro could leave. Obviously, we've got Toby Maino at the moment, so we seem quite content with that. But then the news that somebody like a Benzema might come in. Do you panic when you see that? Have we not had enough of these sort of Galacticos signings that come in and do the square root of not a lot?
It's almost like it would just be a classic Man United, I'm not saying Benzema, he's in probably the twilight of his career, so we were to get him. We're not getting him in his prime years, but say he's reported to be unsettled in the Saudi Pro League, and he's wanting to move back to Europe. I know we've been linked. I think his boyhood club has been after him. Was it Leon? I think, and so, it's claiming United have had talks with with his representatives, but a move for him is going to cost a lot in wages. That we think is the deal going to actually be worth it? But the strikers out there at the moment, I just think he's the best one of them all as well. So you could end up, if that is the case, and Tenor could be getting one of the best number 9s in the world. But as Zinedine Zidane said back in 2018, but we know what Benzema can bring to the table, and I think that could help Hoyland in the long run as well. So it's whether Benzema wants to come for 6 months or not, or it's just does he want experience playing in the Premier League, and what better way than playing for Manchester United? So it seems like a classic thing United do. We've signed strikers on loan in January before, so would it surprise me if we struck a deal at the end of January and just here he is? It'd be nice to see him playing in front of Old Trafford. So, but yeah, I don't know. Everything's probably going to happen on the last day of the window. So, where it's all a mad scramble between every club. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, Stu, it's a really sort of interesting question, I feel. I mean, I know that we're gonna get onto strikers with our little conversation with you a little bit later, but is this the sort of thing you can see United doing? And do you think we need to do it? Oh, he's well off. These two are having an absolute giggle.
Somebody just text me something.
Sorry.
Karim Benzema. Do you know what?
I was going to ask, do you think Hoyland could benefit from having someone like Benzema there for a few months?
Yeah, it's exactly what I was going to say. I'm kind of with the guys, actually. I think the salary that he's on at the minute is just obscene. I mean, it literally is obscene.
Isn't it £4 million a week?
Something ridiculous. It is. It's something like that. I was listening and reading to the numbers that Real Madrid are looking to throw Mbappe's way, and I just started feeling sick, and I just thought, you know what, I'm not interested in football anymore if that's going to happen. And so, for Benzema, I don't really think that anybody knows what's going on in Saudi Arabia with Benzema in particular. Players aren't happy. They were dragged out there by the money, and it's completely different because they're playing for smaller teams. It just doesn't seem to be what it was sold to. But then, would you stick it out for $4 million a week, as Vic said? Yeah, you probably would. To have Benzema at Old Trafford would be stuff of dreams. 10 years ago, it would have been an absolute miracle. Today, we could really benefit from him because when you look at some of the signings that we've had in the past, your Igalos, etc., they've come with enthusiasm and this real want to play for Manchester United. Just didn't really deliver. Benzema's got that knack of delivering. He knows where the goal is, but if I'm Rasmus Højlund, I'd be absolutely asking the board for Benzema, telling the board for Benzema. and selling myself to the board for Benzema, because he will be able to show Højlund exactly what Højlund needs. He needs to live in that 6-yard box. That's where a number 9 lives. That's where he feeds every day. You know, if he's going to go and date a bird, that's where he takes her. He takes her in that 6-yard box, and they end up in the back of the net together, because that's exactly how it should be. When you look at some of the greats, and when we talk about my topic, me and Dan and Andrew are pretty similar. When you look at the greats, they all know how to exercise within that 6-yard box. Their movement from the penalty spot to the tip of the 6-yard box is immaculate all the time. And Benzema offers you that, but he offers you an outside of the box play when we may or may not need it. But inside, he's ruthless. His finishing is ruthless. Look what happened a couple of years ago when City came to town. They were 3-1 up. Before you know it, Real Madrid just pushed and pushed and pushed, and Benzema was absolutely clinical in his finishing in that game, as well as the other strikers. So for me, you don't pay him what you want. You can't do that anymore. That's got to stop. But I'd like to think that Benzema himself would want to come and grace Old Trafford. You know, he's graced there as a player, and he knows the magic that is Old Trafford. But to actually grace it with a red shirt, wearing the crest, I don't think that's something he should be even considering turning away. He doesn't need the money. You know, this guy doesn't need £4 million. With regards to Aaron Wan-Bissaka going to maybe Casemiro, you've got to cut your cloth accordingly. You have to. I wouldn't want to see either of those players go, but I think it's quite important that if we do it, it's for the right deal. It's for the right reasons. And if you can kind of get Benzema in some kind of deal, some kind of way where we can offset quite a lot, and Benzema, as I said himself, wants to come, to me, it's a no-brainer, Bas. An absolute no-brainer. Terrific player.
Fair enough. And Vic, we'll come to you sort of for the last one here. Where do you stand on all of this? Because I sort of worry. We've had the big names before. Ronaldo came in and he did all right, but, you know, was he the thing that caused Ollie to end up having to leave? I don't know. We've done this before. You know, it worked okay with Zlatan. What do you think?
You're right. We've done this before, and the whole ick vibe of Ronaldo 2.0 is not the thing that I kind of fancy. I get it. If I guess if Inros was not involved right now, I'd imagine Benzema would be here right now, and it'd be all over Instagram, and it'd be like his dream come true to come and play at Old Trafford and everything like that. But I kind of see it as a loan. Like, yeah, you would want to, but I think it's like £4 million a week. You can't. Like, Stu is right. He must not want to be playing. Stop it, Stu, because basically we send each other a text. No, I can't look at him seriously. Sorry.
I struggle too seriously as well. He's a joker, an absolute clown, isn't he? Always telling the jokes.
He said he needed a haircut. I said he was fine.
Yes, that's all it was, and that's what got me going. I'm very eager tonight.
Sorry. We'll stop now. Yes. You just would have thought he'd go, oh, I'll take the pay cut for the rest of the season, go on Man United on loan, and then I'll look elsewhere. But does he have the same issue that Henderson would have? That if he came to the UK, he would have to spend a lot of money on tax. Which, by the way, how insane is this? Man United put players out on loan and still cover part of their wages, but Saudi Arabia could have him come here and we'd pay all of his wages, and we'd probably pay his bloody his tax as well, because that's the Man United way. But it's like, coming on to more of my subject later, I think I do have this whole precedent of, are we allowed to press the restart button? Are we, as Man United fans, are we allowed to start the reset button and think not of old but of new? So back to you.
Very, very interesting way to end it. So there you go. That was my topic, and we started the topics off in the, I won't say the old-fashioned way, in the Barry way, we'll call it. You know, nice and polite, and we've all gone round and had a nice little
I
chat.
like the Barry way. I like
I'm
it.
glad you like the Barry way, because we're about to completely balls it up and throw in a little mini grenade, because I'm going to do something that I've never done before. And I'm going to take the gloves off. They're not physically on. It's a metaphor. And that's it now. I'm not going to start asking questions. I'm going to let you lot run the place. Unless I feel like I desperately have to jump in. It's going to be up to you guys. If you've got something to say, let's get in there. As long as there's only one voice speaking, because otherwise people are going to whinge at me that they can't hear what's going on. But I'm really looking forward to this. Everybody getting the chance to just have a go and see what they think. Just to point this out, John, please go back to the beginning, because you've got a name check right at the beginning of this. So it's quite scary that you've actually jumped onto this one. It's almost a bit like the Batman symbol. You've heard your name and, I hear my spider senses are tingling, and off he goes. Do you have a show every Thursday? Depends. The midweek ones vary. Depending on availability of the adults available, really. Sometimes it's Tuesday, sometimes it's Thursday, sometimes it's Wednesday. There's always something midweek.
What adults? Who are the adults? You're certainly not looking at the bottom, right?
Wait. I might be 14 2 weeks time, but I'm still I'm still that 16-year-old girl somewhere.
Rumor has it.
Just with responsibilities that I want to hide away from. But get me all.
Yeah, Andrew Wall, he's the responsible adult. If we had to do a risk assessment, he'd be the trusted adult that we put in there. And he's not in the car, so it's perfectly safe.
Andrew, I might have to message you because I need a haircut and I need some adult advice.
There you go.
Go short back and sides, that's what I do.
Oh no, let's not do that then.
I know nobody's coming to me for hair advice. It's outrageous behaviour.
I don't think you should ask me for hair advice.
No,
I just get up and go.
No, definitely not. Definitely.
Andrew, we're going to kick off over to you. Yours will be the first topic, dear boy, because it sort of follows on nicely from where I was. So off you go, mate. The floor is yours. Anything can happen over the next 45 minutes. Here we go.
To say, Anthony Martial, a topic that's been discussed many a time on this channel. So, yes, I know. But obviously, it's been confirmed he's been out injured. Well, he's injured. Again. So, initially it was an illness, but actually, he's actually injured now. So, I'm just.
Are we talking about his retirement?
I don't know. Well, he might retire at the end of the season. Who knows? Who knows where he's going to go? So, obviously, yeah, he's going to be out of contract at the end of the summer. And I'm just thinking he's managed 19 appearances and 2 goals this season. It just feels like a sorry return for a striker that many of us probably thought would be reaching the top of his game, and he hasn't. Are we looking forward to his return? Well, say because he's out for 10 weeks, but are we going to forward to return? Yeah, probably, but with gritted teeth, because we need, some strikers, because we are thin on the ground. But I was going to say, this is the latest long line setbacks for a player who we thought was going to have a bright future. I mean, 90 goals in 317 appearances. So it's expected he's going to leave it at the end of the summer, and he's going to be a free agent. But I'm just thinking, with this injury, will it change our approach in the January transfer window? My opinion of it, I don't think it will, but it's whether we go out like we was discussing, just getting in a striker for the short term. But the talk is United stance on the transfer market is at the moment we're steady about it. I'm just like, so should we think like for the short term until the end of the season, or should we think more long term? Because I just think we've got to be thinking more long term, because it's good. With short-term deals, it'll only make rebuilding the squad more difficult down the line. So I'm just thinking, I think in the short term, it's not going to change our approach, but it's what you guys think as well. So I don't know who wants to answer onto that one.
Only Martial can do bringing back fitness and make it really, really long history. That the guy, just really wants to be on health, like that. He just literally wants to be on disability allowance but on footballers' wages, doesn't he?
Worst thing with Martial, the phrase with it, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. I've seen what he can do, and I'm just like, we want
Oh,
more.
he can do extra Instagram posts.
And I'm just thinking sometimes on the pitch, I was just seeing the way, like with Hoyland, you just see he will press everything down, and Martial, he'll do it sometimes, but other times you just see him jogging off. I'm just like, put a bit of effort in, and just even if you, as I say, anything you can get, even if you end up getting nothing out, at least you've tried to do something on the pitch. And I just think, you just see like the look on his face. It's like, is he interested in what he's doing in the game? And like, you're playing for Manchester United, the biggest club in the world. I'm just thinking, should really be having a smile on your face.
He's got a boyhood dream. It's the boyhood dream, isn't it?
These opportunities to play for this club, it's once in a lifetime. So
you see, when he first came to us, he did really well, didn't he? It was unbelievable how well he played. And
his
I thought he was really good.
His debut against Liverpool, scoring that goal. I remember Martin Tyler, just saying welcome to Manchester United, Anthony Martial. I thought this is the arrival. I know he was labelled the next Thierry Henry, and I remember when Thierry Henry first came to Premier League, he struggled, and then he just we know what happened with Henry next. It's one of the greatest Premier League strikers in history. It's not quite worked out in the same way.
I think it makes I'm gonna put Rangnick and Erik ten Hag both into the footballing ways of mind. They both have a very clear state of mind on how they want their football played, and they're both quite similar in the way they wanted the tactics. Rangnick put him on loan to Seville with just a click of a finger, and I think that says everything about Martial and the way that people see him in his mentality of football. He was one of the ones, in my eyes, I could be wrong, I don't know, that it's just the way where they go, I want to get lazy players out and I really want to get bad players out, right? Bad people in the structure of this football team. Well, Rangnick's answer was he's the first one to go to Sevilla, and he played a game and then he got injured. So that's what I always think when it comes to Martial, and I lost complete faith from then on.
So with Martial out, I'm just thinking, do we go for a short-term deal or do we wait till the summer and think more long-term, because yes, Hoyland probably needs that help, but I'm just thinking longer term.
So for me,
MT's right here. Next year's his testimonial year. That's going to be 10 years.
Yeah, no. For me, the kid was a precocious talent, wonderfully talented dribbler with speed, power, strength. He got almost everything at a very young age, and there are times with footballers where you do peak way too early. You don't age like a fine wine. I age like a fine wine, and I am a very expensive bottle of champagne at this point when I take the pitch. Whereas Martial never did that. Martial started, to age like a fine wine and ended up like a Liebfrauen Milch or something you get off an Aldi shelf, and that's the problem that you've got. And he needs to this player, this man, this husband, this father. He's got to take a long look at himself, because I tell you something. When he finishes, his career, he is going to look back and think, yeah, I've got X, £1 million in the bank, but Jesus Christ, what a waste. I just wasted it. And he's been at a club that's allowed him to waste. Hey,
by the way, sorry to interrupt you. Stu, you are not a pint of milk. You are a very good bottle of champagne.
Thank you. You called me a pint of milk. Hey, NT, wine.
Wait.
Thank you. What I was going to say was,
how dare he? How was nobody
I know.
How dare he?
I know. I'm gutted. Actually, I'm leaving the stream. No, that's fine. The problem that he's had, or we've had, is a club that has allowed him to waste his years, waste the very best years of a footballer. They've allowed him to do that. he's really got nothing to show for it. If you look at what's his name? I hate him. Phil Foden. He's got 5 Premier League medals already, hasn't he? 4 Premier League medals, something like that. Hey, well done, it. Do you know what I mean? Martial's got nothing to show for it. 0 as far as I'm concerned. So look, I don't really like Prosecco. I'd take a Guinness. Yeah, you can. That's full-bodied, full of iron, strong. That'd be me. You could call me a
honestly
Guinness.
say, when I saw this topic come up, at no point did I think we'd be having the conversation about whether or not Stu is champagne.
That's what Topic Week's all about. So if you were a drink, what would you be, Barry? What would you be?
Me? Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know. Probably appetizer.
Okay. What about you, Andy?
Vodka and goat. That's my drink, so always my go-to.
Okay.
He knows. MT knows.
You're a Guinness. What about you?
Anything sugar-free.
Oh, that's much better.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. But I agree.
Be an Orangina, because you used to have to shake those up before they were.
Oh, yeah. Do you know what? I get a pleasure of meeting. Saha next weekend.
Do you?
And he loves an Orangina. He never really had one when he lived in France, and then he had to do one like something online, and then he got into it again.
Tell him he didn't fare so well on my list.
No, I won't say that.
So, by the way, Stu says.
But if anybody asks, I am a happy juice drink. I am a margarita.
Oh, nothing wrong with that. Yeah,
margaritas all the way.
So that's my point on it, Andy.
Yeah, I don't know what Dan thinks on Martial, and whether we go short term or long term in terms of with his injury, striker wise.
I'm going to go.
Julio slaughtered me. Sorry, Dan. Before you go in, Julio slaughtered me here. He goes, "A pint of milk runs faster than stew on the pitch." What's all that about?
Oh my God! It feels like an accurate Stanley quote here coming.
Julio, you'll be pleased to know.
Is he calling you youthful because you've been drinking milk like you did, so you want to play for Accrington Stanley?
I don't know. He could be having a pop at my Zimmer frame like somebody else I know had a pop at my Zimmer frame.
My God, we went through the session. We knew it was an open topic, all right? Yes. I slept on the sofa that night. It's fine.
That's right. I've got wheels on my Zimmer frame now, guys.
And a couple of tennis balls for when he breaks.
Yeah.
See, I'm not convinced. Dare I bring it back? But I'm not convinced that Martial is going to have anything to do with our transfers now. I'm not convinced we're going to see anybody come in at all, if I'm actually honest. I think we might be stuck in a situation where what we've got is what we've got, and we're just going to have to sort of make do and mend until we get to the summer and everything's sorted. I'm not convinced we're going to get anything else whatsoever, which is a shame. I would love to see Anthony Martial get back to his best. Out of all the players we've got, he's the second top scorer for United. He's only 10 goals off the century. It's crazy.
I don't think he can, Baz. I don't think he can. I think, look, on a serious note, I think you're right. But I don't think he can. He's one of those, and I don't mean this in any other way, but you would strangle him in the dressing room. He would frustrate the life out of you as a player, as a teammate. He would wind you up so much because he's always injured or he's lazy. It just,
I personally think, we get a corner flag statement, and with regret that Martial retires from football, and he's got this mental pension that nobody knows about that he gets to start immediate effect.
Yeah. Oh, and apparently he used to play for Manchester United on occasions.
And he has a testimonial where he actually plays like 5 minutes of and then gets off because a gust of wind have blown him away.
Hey, wouldn't it be great?
Sorry, that makes me. I must be in such a bad mood today because I've been a bit pessimistic.
Yeah,
please don't let me. Please don't let me.
How many games do you think he's played?
Oh, he's played a lot, hasn't he?
Yeah, how many?
But he's played a lot, not contributed a lot, or had consistent minutes. So it's not like he's done 90 minutes. Yeah, how many has he actually finished?
370.
That's not.
Ask him. How many do you think he's played though?
I don't
Got the
know.
number here.
During the pandemic, I would have thought he'd done more during the pandemic because everybody was had to stay away from him, so he couldn't complain about getting germs or a cold or an injury.
He's over 300, isn't he? He must be.
Yeah.
It is over 300. Absolutely.
9 years. It's 9 years, isn't it?
Yeah,
317 is
There
how
you
many he's
go.
played, and he scored 90 goals in that time. So
And just like Jesus, whatever you want to pronounce him in Arsenal, how many times has he done it with a smile on his face?
I believe the
You
answer
count
is
that in
4.
one hand. Yeah, I was going to say you
Four.
count that one. Do you know what the sad part about that stat, Baz, is? The sad part about that stat is he should have been up at about 180 goals.
Oh.
Seriously, because he got that talent and he got that ability. His finishing in the early days was sublime. He was absolutely sublime. But
Fair play here from NT, who's really thought your question through. He says he's a bottle of Islay whiskey. Smoky, peaty, smell a bit like the seaside and surprisingly smooth, but too much of me will give you a massive headache the next day. Good. Dan, what do you reckon about all this?
I
Love
wanted to
it.
jump in on this one. This yeah, we double it. This one. So he wanted to get rid. Apparently, I'm gonna.
Oh
go
yeah,
it
he did
slightly
massively.
different. I'm gonna blame some of the managers. I don't think they got the best out of him. Solskjaer, for example, and I've done my little digging on this one. This is after Jose, obviously. Martial started 42 games. He scored 20 goals and got 8 assists in those 42 games. He was absolutely flying at that time. And then it's quite ironic, actually, because Martial then threw Solskjaer under the bus, saying that you made him play injured. And then the other managers failed to get anything out of him. And then now he's injured. So I think it's down to some of the changes in the way the football was played at the club as well over the years that he's not really succeeded, as well as his own injury problems. But as the record shows, when he was playing under Solskjaer and he was playing that quick brand of football that he played at Monaco, he did really, really well. I think, if I remember rightly, he got more assists under Mourinho. I think it was like 106 games for Mourinho, and he got like 27 assists over the 106 because he was playing more on the left. But I genuinely think that some of the managers have got a lot to answer for as well in the way that he's failed. And I would include Ole in that as well, because if he's been made to play injured, as we've seen with Martinez this season, sometimes you do need to give a player a break and say, look, have this time out. And I genuinely think that's what he's done this time. I think he's opted to have this surgery, whether or not that is wise for his Man United career. I think that's pretty much over now, because he knows it's over, and the best place or the best way to get him ready for his next club is to have the surgery now and then prepare for the summer when he moves on. It would be very Manchester United to hear that he's signed an extension, let's be honest. But I can't see it. To answer Andrew's question in terms of the long-term, short-term, I'll say the same. I would much prefer to see Charlie McNeil playing number 2 to Højlund for the rest of the season than I would bringing in another 37-year-old player on 200k, 150k a week, and that's where we're at. There's surely a striker in our reserves somewhere that is good enough to see out the season in the Premier League. I'm not saying he's going to get 20 goals, 10 goals, 5 goals, but sure, he's going to do better than Weghorst and Falcao when we brought Falcao in, because we're going to be talking about number 9s later. There's got to be somebody at the club that can do that. I would go for a long-term option. When I read that we had 18 to 20 million to spend on Callum Wilson, there's surely a kid out there somewhere where we can spend 18 to, if that's what we've got, which I don't believe, then
That
surely
was
there's a
it.
kid somewhere.
That is just Sky Sports making things up to make
I agree.
United
I
relevant.
agree. Yeah, but we've got to look long term now and get rid of this short term stuff. The question about Casemiro and Varane being sold. If Saudi offered enough money, I'd be tempted to sell them, as long as we've got replacements ready to come in and we acting like a proper football club. If we're selling them and then we panic into to buy someone, we don't do it. So yeah, that's my thought on Martial. I think partially his own fault, partially some of the managers, and again, just to always go back to it, Shame Ollie's still not here.
There we go. Well, we're going to truncate that there. That's the thing about these topic shows. We can only give a certain amount of time over to each one. But a good topic, Andy. Nice way to get it off. Now, we were, if you're on the tweet, you would have noticed one of them said new grounds. But if there's one thing over all of the years that I've been alive, it's that it is a woman's prerogative to change her mind. And that's happened. So, Vicky,
Wow.
what are your dazzling?
Do you know what? The new ground is actually quite irrelevant. It's just a new thing. I want to go and talk about how we're talking about old players doing old tricks. And I want to do right now is everyone just to hit the pause button and realize we're doing something new now. And do we get to press the reset button? Do we get to get the VCR, turn it around, put it in? Just imagine anybody who goes, "What's a VCR, Vic?"
People are going,
Victoria, what is the VCR?
Yeah,
but do we get?
Might belong to you.
Are we now available to be fans and go? We can press the restart button now. We're in a new direction. We're doing things in a sporting controlled way. We've now got someone who potentially by the end of the year has 29%, which is the biggest stakeholder of Manchester United, that actually wants to do trophies, that actually wants to talk about positive transfers, and they actually want to do things like positive everything, where we are talking about where we can, if we can perform any area in every area of 1%, it would make it better. Now, I'm telling you, like in a boring kind of way, if I agreed that I wanted to wake up half an hour earlier, that I had to make some changes, and that's what I had to do, which was my 5%, that it has improved my life, and I guess it has. So Manchester United are now doing things where I think this transfer, we're not going to do a panic one, probably will do, but just because there is like a depth need for a striker. But right now, there seems to be no change, nothing to go forward about doing a panic investment and just start new. We're just going to start new, right? My neighbour's just beeped. So basically we've got obviously sporting control, right? We've got we just, oh my god, I'm doubling. But yeah. What do you guys think about the whole reset? I want to know about your opinion on the reset. Is it allowed?
I think I would agree. I'm just going to throw this one out there because John's absolutely spot on with this one. Long play on a VCR is a change when it comes to recording. And the fact you could turn a 3-hour cassette into a 6-hour one.
Long
Kids
play.
they're born. I agree. When we found out that Ineos were going to take over, it was Boxing Day, I went to my brother-in-law's house and I had to watch Aston Villa with him. And there's one thing I hate doing more than anything, it's watching football with my brother-in-law, because you think Stu can be pessimistic sometimes. Jesus, wet. This kid was unreal. And I said to him, this is good news, isn't it? He's like, no, it'd be terrible. It's not enough. You know, it's just, you'd just be a Glazer puppet and all that sort of stuff. And I think the tricky bit's going to be getting the fans to sort of get on board and go into one direction. I think that's the big thing that I think we're going to struggle with is getting those to do it. But I think the vast majority, dare I call them, the proper Manchester United fans will want to see this work. You know, we've already heard from the 1958 that this could be the start of something. So you're getting positive vibes out of some of the spokespeople. I think for me, I think it has to be. I don't think we can focus too much on just what's happened in the past. I think we all need to start looking forward. They look like they're doing the right thing. They've started at the very top of the tree and it looks like they're going to work their way down. What will happen when they get to team manager and it comes to Ten Hag is obviously still a debate to be had, which I suppose gives a bit of a lifeblood to a channel like this. But I couldn't agree with you more. I think the reset is exactly what's needed.
Exactly.
But mostly within the team. I think that's where the reset needs to happen more than anything, is that we need to decide who we keep and who we get rid of and work from there.
That's exactly what I mean from the point I'm getting to, is that we're now they haven't even got full control yet, but things have changed a million miles an hour. And I think it's actually just go faster and faster as the time goes on. where they get sporting control and things like that. What my point is like, as fans, do we have it in us to stop talking about the past and just focus on the new? And I do think it would show, if you're like, to me, it just shows if you're a true fan, then you've seen it, you want it, and you're going by it. I know it just we all want Glazers out, and that is like the full like bit. But right now, if you can just take control of the football and know that you need football to win things, to get money, to then like build up obviously the point where the stock exchange gets very, very big, up to, what was it, $34 that Jim Vegas said that he would like buy them out with, and that's it.
Yeah, I think the reset button is all right, Mick. I think the reset button is the right wording for definite. I think for me as a legacy fan, and in fact, I brought this up 3 years ago on the channel. A couple of days before it was mentioned in Parliament, I spoke about, I
remember that was October 2021.
That's right. It was roughly around. I know it was, yeah, because
that's when I started going online, and I've paired up with you and Mark Biggs. Yeah, there you go.
The big thing.
That's how long our relationship's been going strong.
Well, we're supposed to be keeping it quiet. Nobody's supposed to know. Crikey. Honestly, my Twitter's going to blow up now. No, it's been a while, hasn't it?
Not though.
No, it's going to go mad. What I was going to say is I brought that up, and Vicky's right. I did bring that up, and I spoke about the fact that I no longer existing in the eyes of Manchester United. I'm a 30-year season ticket holder, but they don't care about me anymore. They're caring about the future. They're after my lad. They're after Vicky's kids. They're after Andrews of this world. They're after Dan's of this world. They don't care about me and Baz anymore because we're old news. They want new news. And the thing about us is, the thing about me and Baz, the thing about me, Baz, and Vicky to an extent is that we can accept change. We can see the evolution of a club, and we can see what it was like when I grew up in the 70s. And if you know your history of Manchester United, what it was like in the 60s, the 50s, and the 40s. And so as much as people don't want to wait for change, and people will be talking about results, they'll be talking about this, they'll be talking about that, there's a time where if you are Berida, for example, you're in tray. I mean, you can't see the top of his in tray because it's that full with issues that he's got to do. He's got to, from a non-sporting side, he's got to get the debt under control. He's got to streamline the business. He's got to look at what's important in terms of, departments, how many we can physically run. I mean, we've got something like 500. Andrew will be able to tell me because he knows his stats, 500, maybe 520 staff. City run a lot leaner at 260, 270 people. And we could probably do something similar, but it takes time to get to that kind of leanness. And, Berida's an expert at making a business lean. I'm a commercial director, and we run our business lean, but it's a profitable business. And this is where the guys have got to look at it. And you guys are talking about, do we jump into the transfer market? And Vicky's point was, do we, don't we? I don't think we do. I think if I'm Berida, if I'm Brailsford, if I'm certainly Eric Ten Hag, and I'm Sir Jim Ratcliffe, maybe not the Glazers, I'm looking at the overall picture right now and thinking, right, let's put a pin in the season as we are right now. Where we finish is where we finish. We need Champions League money. We know this. So if we don't get Champions League money, we've got to put this into play. And then we will slowly but surely be able to make better decisions, not just on a business level, but on a football level. But you've got to start somewhere, because also right about performance on the pitch is where the income generation will come. We're signing, Andrew, again, correct me if I'm wrong here, you know this type of stuff better than me, but our Adidas deal at 95 mil kicks in next year. Our Snapdragon deal kicks in. Now, It's an interesting thing about Snapdragon. Snapdragon and Sir Jim have had quite a long working relationship with Mercedes. They're a partner with them, so they know what's going on. They know what it takes to rebuild a business. Mercedes are in reset mode at the minute. It's a shame Connor's not on because he's a Red Bull fan, but you may see a completely different Mercedes in 2024. You won't see a completely different Manchester United, but you will do in 2025, 2026. So the reset button, Vic, is absolutely right. And it's the right way to do it. And if fans don't want to get on board, we don't need you, you know?
But it's not just that though. It's just the fact that even that they got rid of their head of physio, because obviously there was something going on wrong with that, because they were coming back. They probably weren't as fit as they should have been, or been rehabilitated properly. And now they've cut, so that was it. They cut off. This seems to be so more technical and so much in the sporting direction. And it's all being done behind the scenes. You're not seeing leaks. You're not seeing all this sort of stuff. All you're getting is like some old players have come back and they're going, "Oh, I don't like the training regime."
Tough. But you're right, Vic. So some of the stuff that we're seeing now, we're not even hearing about. I read today that Bareda's appointment wasn't even confirmed to the senior management level until 2 hours before it was released. That's how business is done. This is where Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Brailsford and that will get it right, because they're used to that type of way. We will get what we want first and foremost, and then we'll discuss it. NDAs get signed and things of that nature.
And that's the one thing where you think that they've got some people that have canaries in their minds, and they think like, canaries are clever, but really when somebody's holding their beak together, they're going to die. So then they're going to go and get out, and that's the reason to like come off work. And I just think that's what's been going on in the past. I can't confirm it all tonight. It's not like I have complete knowledge of it all. I do get a bit though, but I just think that's who it's going.
Dan and Andrew, anything you add to it?
Andy?
That's how I'll go for it. We all said like the last 10 years there's been many restarts, resets. I think Stu mentioned the word there. I just think it's more apt now. Evolution. Man United. We can't keep saying resets and restarts. That sounds like we're just going to rip the whole thing apart and like, let's start again. Look, we've got a base at the minute. We're just going to have to, it's going to be an evolution of that, with Jim coming in and his team now, the football operations, but also they're going to be involved in the commercial side as well. So they're both going to marry together. So they're going to be involved in those commercial decisions, even though they've got the title of football operations. There's a video of Bereda when time at City saying, well, the football operation and the business side of it has to work hand in hand, a bit like when Gill and Ferguson were together. For it all to be successful off the pitch, it's got to be successful on the pitch. And I think like with the squad at the minute, with Ten Hag, hopefully Jim gives him the time, and the players that Ten Hag wants to shape that squad into what he wants, and I just think when we had, the teams he built, it was an evolution of those teams. It wasn't like, even when we was winning titles, like I was like, I'm going to start to move those players on now because I want to bring these in. So it's got to be that mentality as well. And I just think hopefully it all gets ratified by next month, and then we're probably not going to see anything majorly seen for like until like 6 months into this, takeover. And I'm just interested to see where it all goes. The playing squad, our training facilities. Is there a possibility, upgrades on the current ground? Is there going to be a new ground? But that's another story on, the current stadium and whether we move or not. So, but yeah, I'm just thinking with this takeover, it's the guys that are still here. I feel like with Sir Jim, it's the start of something. The Glazers will hopefully go at some point, but we've just got to see within the next 3 or 4 years how it all pans out, and then we'll see where we are.
Dan?
For me, it's really, really simple, but made to look really complicated. You're only as strong as your weakest employee at every level. So if you've got Martial on 250 grand a week, and the agents think that they can get their player that, then we look weak. If your head of physio is sending Martinez out to play with a broken foot, and he's putting in shocking performances and then misses nearly all of a season, then you look pretty weak. If you're
By the way, same physio that kept Rashford keep on going out when he had a broken back.
yeah,
Sorry,
that's it.
but
you look weak to everybody else. When the Glazers are your owners and they're in charge of the footballing world, it looks weak. You literally have to start from the top and work your way down, and start establishing things like with the media that they didn't know that the transfer of the City fellow was coming. That sends a message. Where did that come from? Even your top so-called tier one journalists didn't have a clue until it was broken. And that there straight away, we're not going to get the information we need all the time. Then we need to stop the team sheets leaking. We need to improve training facilities. You're literally just as strong as your weakest employees. So until we really root out the weak ones and replace them like they are doing, but that goes all the way down to the playing staff, training staff, canteen manager, whatever you want to call it, it literally goes to the very bottom to the very top. Until we get in a position of that, we're going to struggle. My only issue would be is if I start to see them keeping my perception of weak. If Man United offer Martial a new contract for a year in the summer, that to me is weakness. So we're not.
Oh my
forward.
God, I completely agree with you. If they decide to do that silly contract where they were going to go and have Martial go do 6 months on loan, that makes no business sense. I don't see Ineos doing it. Wait a minute, sorry, I'm going to sneeze.
Bless you.
Sorry. I had the most pathetic sneeze. Sorry, of all time. So, but I completely agree. If that sort of thing happens, but I've got a funny feeling the people in the background, right, are already in place and just doing bits without being like confirmed.
Well, it's not been ratified yet.
No, nothing's been confirmed, but I already think there is just these people.
Yeah.
You don't get rid of your head of physio for just like for no reason. You just go, oh yeah, why don't? And you know, we've done some good poaching. We've taken we've poached the medical advisor from Arsenal. We've obviously already done the Man City like for like Omama, sorry. But the one thing I will say is like people that wanted to take investment from this club hasn't just I've just started watching like Man United and all the stories when I was thinking about investing in them. Like they haven't just watched Erik ten Hag do last season and going, oh, but he's doing really poor right now. I think his job is on the line. Especially with the people that they're more involved with science and sports science and the way they earn money. I actually believe that it'd be quite shocking to see Erik ten Hag leave because they look at performance and they would rather try and work with something. And with someone that's so methodical as Erik ten Hag, I'd be more shocked if he left last season, especially when they don't really want another manager with a different mindset and different players, which we've all been talking about online. We've been talking about this over and over again. And who wants another mixed squad? So this is why I think it's like a reset button. It's a bit like a toxic cleanse, you know?
Mm.
We all start going to the gym. We all start drinking lemon water in the morning. And we all keep what we've got and just get rid of the bad stuff. Get rid of
the full reset won't be done now. It's going to take time. Me personally, I think they're going to get to the summer, and there could quite possibly be a point where they say that Ten Hag leaves because they don't believe that he's going to be able to fully reset the squad. I've said this for weeks and weeks and weeks. Johnny Evans is not the future of Manchester United. Why is he still playing when the season's dead? Martial's not the future of Manchester United. Why is he even in and around the training ground? Just pay 6 months off.
Evans was just like because what we had available.
Yeah, but we've got that Cam Waller on the bench, who's a young lad who's come in well. play him.
I know, and I bet 100% he's working with Johnny Evans every day.
No, but this is what I mean.
Every
You've
day.
got to see it on the pitch as well as a fan to be able to say, yeah, they are hitting the reset button. I'll give him as long as most of these players are there. I want Ten Hag to have the chance to get rid of them all, but the club has got to back him. We've seen it. Countless managers have not been backed. This club has got to start backing the manager and saying, right, this is what he wants. We'll go and get it.
I will personally make my topic next week about the 2 books I've ever read, which involves Eric Ten Hag, one his autobiography and 2 another one, and then that will be my topic next week. And then I will make you all fall asleep slowly and gradually, where I make you all feel calm about Eric Ten Hag from the start to the end.
Doing that, we're definitely going to have to put you last because you can't have people falling asleep mid-show. But we are going to have
I'll make sure they hit the like button first. I hope everybody's hitting the like button.
Absolutely. Yes. But we are going to have to hit the reset button on the topic because we've been going 56 minutes and there's still 2 people that want to throw theirs out. And I know that Mr. Stu is really looking forward to his, but we are going to leave him till last because I think that Dan's naturally progresses onto this because we're talking about a reset. And Dan's sort of talking about where we do the reset. Some might say, Stu, we're saving the best till last.
Well, I didn't want to say anything, but you're absolutely
We were leaving me.
Some might say
I done this for you.
You gate crashed. You
did. But like we say, well, it's prerogative. Change your mind. Danny boy, take us in. How are you thinking of resetting this conversation?
So I just wanted everyone's opinion one by one of basically if you could build a football team around any current footballer, you can throw whatever reason you want out. Like who would it be and why? So I want Andy to go first, though.
It's a tough question. I'm just trying to think current players who would build.
Sorry, what was the question? I was slightly listening, and then I saw Quality Street, and then I got lost.
Chocolate.
Yeah, Quality Street. We'll build it around Quality Street.
Nothing wrong with Quality Street. I love Quality Street.
Any footballer in the world you could build a football team around now, who would it be? But we're starting with Andy.
Like a 5-a-side?
No, just one player.
I'm just trying to think which player. No matter what their age is at the moment, or is it just like their age now, or
just on your sole opinion, like who first jumps to the head that you think I want this player in the team and we could really build a future around them?
Oh, right. Why he thinks, right?
Yeah.
Why he thinks, and I like literally everybody's gonna love it's gonna be Real Madrid player, right? Let's slow it down. Real Madrid, England player. Who is it?
Jude Bellingham.
It's my old mate.
It's Jude Bellingham. Sorry, Stu, it's not you. I would have picked you, but I'm going to go. Well, before we go for another couples counselling session, it is going to be Jude Bellingham. And why would it not?
No.
Sorry, it's an obvious answer.
No, could you mind? Sorry, Andrew. While you're thinking, then, Jude Bellingham's a great shout. Dan, you know me. I can never come up with a straightforward answer to you at all.
It's all right. He's like that when we pick sandwiches.
Yes, that is very true. Yeah. My train of thought's gone now.
It's all right. We think about his hair. I think he should keep it like that. He wants to cut it.
It needs cutting. It needs cutting.
No,
anyway,
I think it's fine.
Yeah, I know, but I won't tell people why. I'll keep that quiet. Anyway, what I was going to say is, good night, Mick. Thank you for tuning in, mate.
Bye, Mick.
Mick is the owner of the MUFC Realist TV, so thank you ever so much, Mick, for coming. And there's a couple of lads, GBST is there, and Jarvis, all from over there, so thank you. Dan, for me, I don't think you can use a single player. It's just my humble opinion, and it's very humble. I think you need a nucleus of 5 or 6. But within there, and this is where I will agree with Vicky, you need one solid leader. And right now, today, and it's not because I play footy with his old man or anything like that. It is Jude Bellingham, 100%.
Yeah, but you've got to pick someone else. And stop saying you're going to pick Palmer, because we had this discussion. You can't do it again.
You can pick the same. It just makes it unanimous.
Can I not pick Jude?
No, you can pick Jude. You can pick the same.
Can I pick Jude on? Am I on the sofa if I pick
fair,
Jude?
he is doing the YouTube husband job and just saying, yes, Vicky,
Yes,
you're
Steve.
right.
Yes. Otherwise, yes. I tell you what, then. It would be Rodri then if it's either Jude or Rodri for me. Now, for me, I hate Rodri, which means I think he's a quality player. So for me, it would be it'd be Rodri.
Now, Andy, you must have picked someone now.
Yeah, I've flitted between two. Unfortunately, I'm picking a City player, and that's Erling Haaland. I'm just thinking, he's proving it in the Premier League, and I'm just thinking, I know we should have probably got him, and we never did. And yeah, it's just like, I'd say a freak of nature is Haaland, and just like
He's the most dropped EPL Fantasy League player, though. At the moment.
He just, when he came, everybody knew he's good, but he just set the bar so high from the start in the Premier League. I mean, I think was in his first 15 Premier League games, he's netted 22 goals, and I thought in most other seasons that would have just won you the Golden Boot straight away. So just his physicality, you know, his finishing as well. I'm just hoping it's, you know, like Højlund gets to that point as well, so he gets into that mould. I mean, just, you know, just when you see him, the ball played into him, he's just instinctive, he's finishing as well. So it's just, and even his pace on with the ball as well. It's just like, it's just, you know, just runs at the opposition, and you know, you just, everybody's like, they're just starting to quake in their boots. But you just think Haaland's just going to go on for the next few years, and you just think, what can he possibly do in terms of how many goals he's going to score and how many more trophies he's going to win? So yeah, I had to choose from my rivals. My other one was flitting between was Kylian Mbappe, and I just thought Haaland's, if it's just talking, you know, to build a team around in the Premier League, you'd be
And I completely agree, because it was in between him and it was Varane. I was thinking Varane was like probably a shoo-in, but I wanted to go and pick Bellingham just because I don't want to see like I can't be versatile.
That's a good point.
Well, Dan, I have to tell you,
The peach.
well, first of all, we'll go with something.
Barry's picking Varane. That's what he just said.
It's a Kevin De Bruyne. We've had lots of other shouts.
Oh my God,
Connor,
Kevin!
No. We've got
No, you
a player
can't.
like him
You cannot
at
pick
Manchester
this
United.
season. You can't pick him this season
Who's picked Kevin De
because he's been
Bruyne?
injured.
I'm
He's played 20 minutes.
sure that Dan didn't add any rules to it on that respect. So to who you think
No
it is.
rules. You can pick who you want, but there is a player like Kevin De Bruyne, and it's Bruno Fernandes.
Yes.
Go on, Danny boy. We've had quite a few. Alvaro Morata has been put out there. Rodri's been put out there.
What about just throwing it out there though, Dan? What about the mighty Tipton Town centre half? I've heard he's quality.
I reckon that
You
might
are.
be you. I've been told you're not very fast and milk's quicker.
Oh no! But what he doesn't have in pace, he has in quality and skill.
That's it. Thank you, Hank. Thank you.
How many times have we had to talk? How many times have we talked about that? Like just like Varane, right? He's not in pace, but he reads the game, just like Casemiro reads the game and just appears to be in the right position at the right time and just gives it to you and just
So
helps.
just out of interest, can Stu run unlike Varane?
Well, let me think about it. If I've been to
Stretch your hamstrings, Stu.
Don't get your bum out online.
Again,
what I was going to say was, crikey.
I think we're going to steer away from Stu's bottom. I think that's definitely the right way to go.
Anyway, moving on.
Oh, sorry,
Thanks, Connor. Moving on.
But no, I think I reject the premise of your question in the first place, Dan, if I'm honest with you. Purely because I think the idea that you have one person who you build your team around is a fallacy. I think we tried that with Ronaldo, and look what happened to us. It would potentially put us into the decline. So I've always believed you need a spine. That's what you need. So I'm going to answer your question rather more cryptically, insofar as if I was looking to build a team around anyone, I would be looking to build that team around Højlund, Mainu, and Martinez, and that would be the start of my spine. Who you bring around them would be to complement what you've already got. In answer to your question, who that would be, I don't know. I think the problem that you have is that you sit there and you start thinking, what's my shopping list? And I think that's the problem. Sometimes you go to Tesco's or Asda or any other ones, because there's lots of them available. You take your shopping list and you decide what it is you want. But if you're anything like me, as you go in shopping, you go,
Can I just say, don't go to Lidl because they're full of ruffians.
Go on.
No,
Don't go to Lidl. It's full of ruffians. I accidentally went there today, and I'm not a snob, by the way, but I accidentally went to Aldi today, and it was just full of ruffians, and there was like people trying to take something out of my basket, and I go, but it's just okay. And I was like,
another word I didn't think I was going to hear today.
I've got a follow-up question. How do you accidentally go in a shop?
Well, I mean, I heard they accidentally. I had to go get my protein, so I went in there. Oh my God, stop. Oh, I can't stop today.
That was, I don't think you talked your way out of that one. But yeah, I think when you do go shopping, whether that be in an accidental shop or one you actually meant to go into, I think what you tend to find is that you end up buying the stuff that you don't necessarily need. And I think that can be the problem. When you start sitting there going, who would be the star player that you'd like to get in? It's not necessarily someone you need. It's just whoever's flavour of the month. What's the most important thing? And I think that's the problem. So for me, I can't answer your question because I think it's all rubbish. But if you absolutely forced me to go somewhere and buy someone, I would pick any goalkeeper.
Yeah.
I knew
Which goalkeeper is that?
Any goalkeeper.
I like Onana. I like it, and I
like him. He's got cracking hair, but I'm not interested in his abilities as a goalkeeper.
No, I like Onana, and I just want him to have a solid back four.
So, but there we go. That's that one. Dan, do you feel like who was your answer, Dan? Who would you pick?
I was doing a little bit of a test, to be honest, because I wanted to see who people said. And I just find it interesting that we could have signed 3 of those players and we turned them down.
Oh, I know.
Mine would have been Rodri. When we talk about the spine of a team, the importance of a team, and I agree. By the way, I agree with what you said in terms of you need a spine of 4 or 5 to build around. I think Rodri shows that one player can make a big difference as well. So I think every game he's missed City have not won. So yeah, mine would have been Rodri for the simple fact that he's just an absolute beast.
He is, yeah, unfortunately.
And it has showed Kevin De Bruyne and Rodri. That's when Man City have been poor.
I hate them both.
See, I strongly disagree with Kevin De Bruyne. I get so much stick for this, right? Kevin De Bruyne can miss half a season and it does not affect Man City in the slightest. He went off in the Champions League final and they still won it without him. He didn't play 2 games leading up to it.
But he got them there. He missed two of the one of the semi-final, one of the quarter-final.
There was a season he played 22 games in the Premier League and he won Player of the Year. He missed 16 games.
You've unlocked the beast now.
Yeah, I'm upset him.
Right, but by the way, you really are unlocking the beast because how did we have Saka, like just given like last season, right? How did Saka make this whole Ballon d'Or thing, but Rashford was an honorary one?
Oh, the Ballon d'Or is just a popularity contest.
I know it is, but bloody hell, what did Saka do? What is Saka doing now, right, compared to what Rashford's doing right now?
Do you know how you know the Ballon d'Or is a popularity contest?
Yeah, I do understand
never
that.
once nominated, and Alisson currently has not been nominated.
Don't, because then we get to talk about Roy Keane and everything else.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think we should just talk about the fact that Connor thinks Kevin De Bruyne is the third best player in the world. Obviously, if you had to name the two that were better than him, one of them must be Luke Shaw.
How is he third best person in the world? He's been injured from like 10 minutes at the beginning of the season.
Do you know, this is my problem with Kevin De Bruyne as well. People are sitting him at the level of Messi and Ronaldo in terms of game changing, and he's just not there. It's like when they used to do it. Eden Hazard was another one. They'd sit him at the very top table, and he's not at the top table. He's at the table down, but not the top table.
But Saka's world class. Look what he's been doing this season. This is what we're talking about. We're talking about people like have played really well last season and did the World Cup, and they played really well. This season, they've been a pile of nappies. Used one. Okay?
No, that's answered your question there, Dan. We are going to move it on to the final topic of the evening.
Yes.
In the words of the Beatles, you say yes, I say 9.
Yes. So, interestingly enough, I was having a chat with my old mate, Johnny Commode, as we do, over WhatsApp, and he posed me a question. And so I've decided I would use that as my topic. So thank you, Johnny K, if you're still in the chat, because I thought it was a good question. And he asked me, who in the Premier League era has been Manchester United's worst number 9? So I started having a think who I liked and who I didn't. So I came up with 7 names, and I've put them in some kind of order, and one of them would surprise you, but I'm leaning towards 2 what I would class as failures in the number 9. I think if I was to quickly go around the panel and ask you to name your favourite, I think we'll probably all land on the same. But bear in mind, guys,
can I just clarify? Are you talking about the 9 position or the number 9?
No, I was about to say it's got to be the number 9. Because if the 9 position was around, there is only one, and that is the one and only Mr. Ruud van Nistelrooy, the greatest. So, exactly, GB, exactly me. So, Andrew, let me start with you. Who would be your favourite number 9?
Oh, I'm going between 2 here, and I'm just like...
You've got to come down on one.
One. If I'm going to come down on one, it'd be Andy Cole for me. He was just, a striker. I just think when you look at, in Premier League history and you say greatest ever strikers, his name's hardly mentioned. I'm thinking he's up there with the best of them. And start of his United career with us, a bit like Højlund, struggling for goals, but as soon as he hit the ground running, it was just like there was no stopping him. And then he formed the partnership with Dwight York, in that treble-winning season. And they're just, both scoring goals left, right, and centre. And even after that, when he with Teddy Sheringham, and them two hardly ever got on. It was
I didn't speak. Yeah, that's right.
They didn't speak. They just knew what to do on the pitch. They said off the pitch. Said, yeah, didn't like each other. So I think Teddy said it. Some people you get on with, some people you don't. So, but yeah, for me, Andy Cole was just like, and his record is in the Premier League. It should be said a lot more about him and say. And also, I just think most of all about Andy Cole as well. He's just, I think Marcel Desailly said once that he was one of his most hardest opponents he ever faced, just because of his movement on the that he had in and around the box, and also I just think
he was an expert. Vicky, sweetie, who was your favourite number 9? And then I'm going to go around and ask you for your worst.
No, I'll do my favourite, Bobby Charlton. I'm not going to skip around the bush.
Oh, this is Premier League era, by the way. Charlton would be, up there. This is Premier League era only.
Why?
Sorry. But I'll tell you what, I'll make an exception for you.
Yeah, you will.
Yeah, we can go with Bobby Charlton for you. But
I know best.
Premier League era.
Because when you just have your favourites, you have your favourite.
Wrong with Bobby, absolutely superb.
And it's Robbo and and Bobby Charlton. You know, I'm a history girl.
You can
I'm
have
not
it.
going
I
to
will
say
allow-
Abramovich, am I?
No, I will allow that, sweetheart. I will allow that. Bobby Charlton for you. But Dan, you've got to go Premier League era. And so for you, Bazza.
I had Andy Cole. No brainer for me. I was
Same here.
a wee boy watching him growing up. So yeah, no, he was amazing, and no penalty goals, I believe. Right?
Correct. Yeah, correct. Yeah. Baz?
I've struggled with this one, if I'm honest, because when you look at them, there's the Premier League area, there's some great names. Obviously, Andy Cole. It was always interesting hearing about him because people always say he takes 7 shots to score a goal. But you look at his return, ridiculous. Like the guy was absolutely unreal. And the fact that he would get 7 shots in a game said a lot about the team. So, yeah, a lot of love for Andy Cole. I think he does really well on that one. Berbatov, possibly the most skillful out of all of them. You know, he had a nice little touch on him. It was always a pleasure to have Ibrahimovic, but I think it would have been nice to have had him in his prime rather than, just playing under Mourinho like he did. We're not going to talk about Martial. She's taken enough of my life up today. We had Lukaku, obviously, Saha, Brian McClare, one that I always remembered from back in the day, but I feel in the Premier League year he did a lot less. He was much more pre-Premier League that we saw the best out of.
Pre-Premier League and War 13 a lot, did Chocky. War 13.
Yeah. So I think I'm going to, on this one, I think that the right answer is Andy Cole, but to try and make this just slightly more of an interesting moment, I'm actually going to go for Berbatov. I think.
Right. Well, Andy Cole is the right answer. So here was my list, fellas and ladies. Here's my list, and I'm going to leave. I'm going to. These are in no particular order, some of them, but my top was Andy Cole, followed by Ibra, and I did struggle with that, but this is going to surprise you, ladies and gentlemen. I thought Martial, in the scheme of things, was quite high up there. So I think he sits up quite high. Berber. Then I've got 2 that I'd like to talk about, which is Lukaku, a discussion point, Saha, and then Falcao. So my discussion points, for which I feel are the worst to represent Manchester United in the number 9 shirt, are Lukaku and Falcao.
I had Falcao.
Well, there. But you know what you're talking about, though, sweetheart. You know your stuff. So.
But I was just told, I didn't know it was just in the Premier League. So
no, but you can have Bobby.
Sorry, Stu didn't explain it to you properly. That's why.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's my fault.
What do we talk about in counselling? You say, when I feel like I need you to express things.
Yes. Okay. That's another one I just put on my list.
I always feel like we need to see if we can move down a little bit, so we got someone between you here.
Can I just say, by the end of the stream, I'd have been divorced. Can I just make that clear? I'm staring down the barrel of the divorce here. So,
yeah, but not in like a bad way. It's just a miscommunication kind of thing.
That's all it was. That's
nice to hear that you can talk your troubles through like this.
Because he's a very nice person, and he actually does do very good contributions to things.
I agree. One word. I think Lukaku was rubbish, but the answer is Falcao. Yeah. He had all the expectation, and he was about as much use as, I don't know, Weghorst. Cold.
Yes. So 2 for Falcao. Andrew.
Dave wait. Was Hughes in the Premier League?
Mark Hughes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, but he was he
played 10.
But he was in the end, wasn't he?
Yeah, he played 10 as well.
Yeah.
But no, again, you could have had him though if you wanted him.
Thank you.
That's all right.
There you go, Dave. You can't have him either.
He holds my shopping bags every time.
So, sorry, Dave, you can't, but Vic can.
Yeah.
Andrew. So the choices are Lukaku and Falcao.
It's going to have to be Falcao. I'm just thinking.
Oh, 3 for Falcao.
Yeah, I just think Lukaku. Yeah, he had a good very first season, but it just never clicked on afterwards. But just Falcao, just like we thought we were getting real good striker, and it just, even though he was only on loan, and then I thought that was going to work out much better than it was. But I can't believe you put Martial ahead of Berbatov. That's still.
Well, there's a reason for that, and yeah, there's a reason for that. I like a type of player, and look, I think Berber is unreal in terms of his skill set and his silkiness, and he's very languid. But then again, so
it looks like he's being lazy as well.
Yeah,
but he's not. He's not.
But I like a more explosive player, and I just think Martial was more explosive. That's the only reason. That's the only reason.
Stu, are we doing number 7 next week?
We can do number 7, yeah, for sure.
All right, Cavani, I'm after you.
No, David Beckham's already won.
No, Eric Cantona.
Yeah, but Cavani, I'm after you as well.
Yep. Well, Cavani would be on my list. Cantona 7s will be massively interesting. We'll do 7 next week.
But as in a bad one, not a good one.
Just FYI, there, I was just going to say Brian McClare. He did play in the Premier League era. He's actually, of all of those number 9s, the top goal scorer. So I know we're raving about Andrew Cole, but I feel Chucky deserves a little shout out there. Chucky's
great, and he's got the car. Yeah, the beard.
The beard.
Goal scorer in the Premier League.
No, he scored more outside the Premier League than he did Premier League. But yes,
but he was a Premier League number 9.
No, he's right. He was coming to the end.
He only scored 26 goals in the Premier League.
Yeah, but you guys will get to answer this question more than my friends have, which I haven't Googled yet, which I keep wanting to Google. Was Chucky the guy in Ted Lasso where he was just like not being very nice?
I've not seen any Ted Lasso.
Well,
I can't remember.
I don't know, darling.
No, that's a no, because then we would know about it. We would know about it if it was. We would know about it if it was. It just looked a bit Chucky-like.
Maybe they can answer that in the comments. Yeah. So, Dan, I know where you're at. You're at Luke Falcao, aren't you, as well?
I am, yeah.
Okay. So I'm the odd one out then, guys, because as much as Falcao was rubbish, I feel Lukaku was worse. And that was the answer I gave Johnny K, big Johnny K. I gave him Lukaku because I think value for money in terms of finance outlay to what he produced, I didn't see that stacking up. So that was that for me. But it's a really good conversation topic, isn't it, and point, because when you actually think about the Premier League and actually who wore number 9, as opposed to the notable exceptions of Rude, Ollie, Yorkie, Cavani, RVP, Cantona, notable exceptions who played up front, Mark Hughes, that type of thing. The ones that actually physically wore the number 9. Amazing, really, when you look at it.
Stu, may I interrupt? Why haven't we had a topic of number 9s with great attributes that didn't get the opportunity but could have had that opportunity?
Oh, what a great question, actually.
Which player would have wanted to see that had all the potential, did when they did play, but they were always the one which was the bench warmer, which I'm only going from this question from Jarvis Cockers. He just said he wanted to go throw about Nicky Butt. Nicky Butt just didn't get the greatest opportunity. Would he be able to have done it?
It's an interesting one, Nicky Butt, and I always liked him as a player, but and yes, his era of coming through, you got Paul Ince, you got Roy Keane, so your chances of progression into the first team were difficult. But to learn from 2 maestros of centre midfield play, he should have had a better career than what he did.
Yeah.
2010, 2011, I believe, that he won the Golden Boot. Berbatov.
I'm just saying on Lukaku as well. He did manage to match Louis Saha's goal tally in half the time. But I know you said about the outlay, we spent on him, but we did recoup most of that when we sold him on to Inter. So we didn't necessarily lose a lot on him, like we have with all the players in the past.
And the other thing about Andy Cole,
I was always thinking Darren Fletcher, but he never was a number 9.
No, he wasn't. But a good player, but again, didn't necessarily get the recognition. Let me tell you
that should be a topic. What players back in 1992 that should have done better than what they did?
Oh yeah, that'd be a good topic. Andy Cole, by the way. All I was going to say was he's an exponent of back to goal play. There's been nobody since Andy Cole who could take the ball 6, 7, 8 yards out and score. Tremendous. I mean, the amount of times that Bruce used to win the header, dropping into Coley'd swivel pretty much on the goal is phenomenal. So that's why it's Andy Cole for me. I might do number 7s then. Yes, I might do. I never wore the number 7. I wore the number 8. 8's my football number. It's my favourite number in all. So maybe we could do 8, Vic. Or have I got to do 7?
Whatever you want. It's your topic.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm giving you.
Shout to that later.
I'm not that controlling.
No, I'm really joking. No, so we could definitely do that. But I just thought Johnny K posed a really good question, and the reason I thought he posed it is because I had to actually think about it. Nothing came directly to me. I had to think about it because when you actually look at the quality and whether or not we all agree that Falcao is the winner, by the way. What a player at Monaco. And Atletico, what a player! So
I know
it's one of those. So
I think it's very fair.
That
was another one. If we'd have had him in his prime,
no,
very good.
Yeah, I mean Cavani for me. You know, Vic brought Cavani up. I think he was a brilliant striker.
I think Cavani was a brilliant striker, but his ego was like the whole thing about number 7 though. It is all about ego, isn't it? So. And the whole Ronaldo thing coming in 2.0 just ruined it.
Yeah,
and, I think it broke Nick's heart.
Yeah, I'm not with Ronaldo. I didn't put him down. So sorry, Baz. That's me done. I was short and sweet.
Really, good, mate. Well done. So there we go. That is pretty much Thursday Throwback done. We have had a rather nice topic show. It's been very good. We've spoken about all manner of things. We started off with a good conversation about Karim Benzema. We ended up talking about haircuts, what drinks we are. We've made it around all manner of stuff. We almost had the debut of Stu Willis Bottom.
Oh my goodness!
Anthony Martial. We've had at least 6 different sneezes from Vicky, and
sorry.
What a time to be alive. It has been very different and very good and really good as well, just to sit and have a laugh. And we hope that whilst you are in the comments, you have been enjoying that as well. We've got a lot coming up. Because
can my next topic, can it be about Varane?
As you said to Stu, it can be whatever you want it to be about. It's your topic.
Well, to be fair, I know that apparently it'll go downhill because...
But yes, technically you could.
No, it won't be.
But it may be a couple of weeks. You've got time to think about it because we've got a plethora of games coming up over the next couple of weeks. There was a bit of questioning about what was happening this weekend. Well, we know there's a game. We're away to Newport County, live on BBC Sport, 4:30. We'll be back on Saturday. Let's have a little preview on that, talk about how we expect that game to go. And then, of course, Sunday night, we should be back again as well. Hopefully not crying into our beers. Thursday, of course, we've got another big game coming up. Wolves at home in the Premier League. And then Sunday again, Wolves away, tell a lie. West Ham will be at home on the Sunday. So
I'm going to that game, by the way.
Oh, hello. Lovely.
Yeah, that's when I get to see Sahar. The only time my 13-year-old goes, oh, I know that player.
Don't tell him I put him 6th then.
he met Wes Brown and John O'Shea, and he goes, "What you said we were going to meet players?" I go, "Oh my gosh,
Wes Brown, legend."
Oh my god! Like I'm there going, I'm meeting some legends, and he's going, "Who are they?" And I'm like, "Oh my god, shut up!" And then he goes, "But I thought we were meeting Bruno." He goes, "I thought we were going to meet Bruno." I was like, "Just before a game."
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That sounds like the sort of thing she would say, to be fair.
Oh.
Don't get me any more trouble, mate. Come on.
But there we go. So, again, a lovely way to spend the 90 minutes. So, keep your eye on the All for United Twitter channel. Because we
don't forget to hit the like.
Yeah,
absolutely. Go on, Dan, push the button. Where's the button? Go on, bring it up, mate. You've been doing it all through the show. you might as well throw it up there. Please like and subscribe. It's been a pleasure to have you on. We hope you enjoyed it. It's the first one of 2024. I'm sure it won't be the last. My thanks to what's been a brilliant panel. Thank you very much to Vicky and to Stu, of course. Andrew, thank you very much, as ever, our season ticket holder extraordinaire. And, of course, to the right-hand man, the one we call Dan. Thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure. And we will see you again on Saturday. Take care, all.